Hey guys, it is Kay with Plan with Kay, and yeah, I haven't had a planner video in like months. I don't know if it's been months, but it's been quite some time. And this one is definitely late, obviously. It's June 19th, and I'm just now getting up my June setup. Better late than never. So I definitely wanted, though, to eventually get this one up because I wanted to show everybody how it is pretty easy to get great results just using a little bit of ink and some stencils. And stencils are relatively cheap at this point. Um, and I think it makes my life way easier. So I got this stencil, I think on Amazon. If I can find a link to it, I will link that one below. I came in like a set of like 20 of them, um, because this is probably generally, while at least I am in, the season of sports, how my bullet journaling will go. So I am using all of my Distress Oxide inks to blend these out, and just chose the color of the rainbow, of course, because June is the perfect time for that. I love the rainbow, and getting all of these amazing bright colors back is my jam, pretty much. So I am using a lumberjack. What is it? Lumberjack plaid, quiche flamingo, carved pumpkin, mustard seed, rustic wilderness, prized ribbon, and villainous potion. And the hardest part for me, I think, honestly, is like figuring out the amount of space that I need for each color, pretty much. So I wanted this to go up and like spread it through the middle. And so we did have to move the stencil there. Definitely just cleaning it off with a nice baby wipe. And that's as easy as that. I think I just put a piece of paper under it so it doesn't get my desk all crazy dirty. But as you see here, like I was to purple and I'm like, oh, whoops, I still have a little bit of space to go. So I ended up just pulling out a lighter purple. That is, what is it? Shredded lilac or shaded lilac, sorry, and kept it going with that. So I could have probably put more purple, actually, now that I see here. I could have put more darker purple, but I love how it turned out. Just using my Fudu, I think the Fudu Sudan. Oh, I can never pronounce that, guys. I always think that I can pronounce it in my head, and then I can never. Nope, I'm actually using a Kelly Creates pen. There we go. Much easier to pronounce. I just used a brush tip Kelly Creates pen to write out June. Added a little drop shadow and called it good. It had been quite some time since I have done lettering, actually, so I had to go back and do a few touch-ups, but I'm pretty happy with it. There I am. I just used my brush tip mild liner for that drop shadow. So as you can probably figure out from this, I had went ahead and put my monthly in here a while ago, just never decorated. I needed, obviously, my bullet journal. I'm still using it. I just didn't have time to either film or decorate. Oh, one huge thing I didn't even think about, guys. As you can see, I went back to, what is it, an A5? A5. My B5 I love so much, but honestly, it was more, I was not filling it. I have definitely went down in the amount of things I've been needing to do. When I used to use a B5, I was running an Etsy shop. I was doing lots of things. And right now, I'm just not doing like that kind of thing right now. I'm doing a lot of different side hustles, yes, but it's more like door dashing and that kind of thing where I don't need a to-do list per se. But I need like calendar based stuff for all of my appointments and games and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is actually a big change. I completely forgot that I hadn't even introduced that I went down. So I got the Scribbles That Matter Pro in like the mustard. Ooh, love it. Love the bright color. Going from white to this bright color has really refreshed me. I honestly didn't set it up like in a yearly manner. I just started right out with June. I found that I wasn't going back that much to use my yearly pages in the front. But there are a few things that I do need to migrate over from that. That'll be a different time. Again, like I said, guys, it's just a busy time of life. So yeah, so this is my monthly spread. I decided just to go down the page with it all. Almost didn't leave room for that purple. I'm telling you guys, the spacing sometimes is kind of crazy. But I am just using masking tape, to mask off the edges. And then I didn't love this rough line that's created up above. I loved it going down the edge, but I was like, I don't really love it up top. You can see there I'm using my ink pad because obviously I'm starting a new journal, so that one side is like not thick at all compared to the other side, so just using that. So I'm like, okay, so we're gonna put the stencil back and align it all back up. That's one thing I do love about stencils is if, you didn't love something, just put it back, and you can usually re-blend out these inks pretty well. So you're going to see it bring back that lumberjack red and then the pink, just to kind of like push those two circles in on, so it's not such a harsh line right there. And fixed. Gonna use the same Kelly Creates a brush pen to write June again. And this one is done. So like I said, super quick, super easy. I obviously needed something super quick and super easy this month because the summer months, I don't want to spend a ton of time in my office, like doing. So this is the first week. Like I mentioned, I needed obviously to get going in June, and I was filming this pretty late. So this was my first weekly setup. As you can see, just did the same thing on top, wrote June over top. I did use some labels that were a bit big to then do the days of the week. And that's pretty much all for that week. Moving on to the next week. Now we are in the second week when I am filming this. I decided to then mix it up a little bit, and we're going to take that stencil down the middle using my Micron, which I should have stopped and done left space for the circles. I just wrote right through the circles, not thinking ahead of time, unfortunately. You're going to see that I sometimes white those out or use my white gel pen to take those out because it didn't work. That's where those circles are where I'm going to put the days of the week pretty much, but you'll see that later. But anyways, using that masking tape and then just putting the stencil right there in the middle. I am just trying to switch it up every week on how I'm using the stencil. But honestly, I think like all of this footage for these couple of weeks were about 28 minutes long to do all of this. Of course, that isn't like sketching them beforehand, but honestly, there wasn't much sketching to these weeks. But this blending goes pretty fast. I'm not doing anything like super, I'm not worrying about them blending like super well together. So we're not going back and forth like I would on maybe like a card base or something like that. I'm just blending them together pretty well. It's my journal. There is, as you can see, you can't see the ink through the Scribbles That Matter paper. So this paper, I do buy the 160 gram notebook paper. And it takes this ink incredibly well. So, I mean, I'm not going over it with a ton of layers or anything, but this one does the ink very well. All right, there is that prized ribbon. And then I think this is probably the one that I probably did the best on. And still probably could have gotten a little bit more red in there, but I think that this one I was finally getting like the spacing right of all 7 colors, right? So But every week I have done so far, I love it, and everything has just come together so well that I'm pretty hooked on stencils at this point, and using my Oxide inks to do all of my spreads. I then just finish up this one with another stencil. This one was like a bullet journaling stencil that had circles. And then as you can see, like I mentioned, I should have left space in those lines for the circles. So I'm now figuring this out, like, oh, and like I go to write like the M in there and it looks silly. So I'm trying to troubleshoot and figure out how I want to do that. But of course, like, there is ink right next to some of the black lines, and I don't want to use whiteout on that. Like the ones that don't have ink around them, I can definitely do that. But yeah, so I end up using a white gel pen, a little bit of a whiteout. Yep, see there, I'm figuring that out right now. The ones that are like the T's for Tuesday, Thursday, I end up just leaving that and using it. Those ones didn't bother me as much as like the M and the W did. So there you go. I'm trying to fix that with just my white, and honestly, it worked decently well. So moving on to the next week, where we are going to go across the top again. So I have been wanting to try out just like a running to-do list, I guess, or a running daily list, I guess. I don't really know how to say it. And I'm going to try it this week, except for I've already ran into issues like I can't plan ahead because I don't need a whole page for it. I just don't have that much stuff at this point. I have thought about going into a daily journal or a daily page type of situation, but I do think that would be a bit too much. But then also, like last week, I did not plan very much on Wednesday and Thursday and just didn't need the space. So I'm trying to find a little happy balance. But this week is one of those weeks that I need to plan ahead, and I have things I want to get done on Wednesday and on Thursday, and I can't do it. So let me know what you guys, if you are a daily planner like that, and how you guys kind of deal with those situations. So you'll also notice that I'm going backwards in my rainbow at this point. I started with the purple and went backwards. It doesn't matter. So again, just cleaning off that stencil with a baby wipe and just lining it right back up, and kept on going. Again, these stencils are just so easy to plan with. And I don't know. I need to get a ton more. So, all right, guys. So that is pretty much going to be the end of it. You are going to see where I do a header for Monday with some washi tape here coming up. That didn't work out so well. I don't know why I did it that way. I need to figure out a better way, or put more washi tape down. I think I was just being a little lazy here. I could have put the sides down too, because, you know, the edges weren't crisp. I don't know what I was really doing. But yep, that's the end of that. Thank you guys so much for always being so patient with me and getting these setups up. This one was just like I was doing it in real time. Honestly, I didn't do it all at the beginning of the month. So maybe we'll get July back on track. So definitely hit that like button if you love this, and hit that subscribe button.